Rutgers. The program's new. You may or may not have heard about it. There are plenty of longstanding programs at Rutgers like accounting and finance, supply chain. Real estate's relatively new. We've been very successful. Let me tell you a little bit about what real estate is at Rutgers. When most people think about real estate, oh, do you go by Rianne or Ryan?
Ryan.
Ryan, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you too.
Let me tell you a little bit about what's going on, what real estate is at Rutgers. Many people, when they think about real estate, they think about selling homes, becoming a realtor. And in fact, some students come in with a realtor's license, which is fine. In our program, we don't prepare you to be a realtor. What we're trying to do is prepare you to own, transact in, manage, acquire, and dispose of very large commercial properties. So prior to the pandemic, a property in Manhattan, an office building in Manhattan might have traded at $1 billion, maybe $800 million. For a transaction of that size, you need to understand the law. You need to understand how that building produces income. You don't just spend $1 billion on a building and sort of hope there's some income. You have to figure out, who are the tenants? Are the tenants going to, or do their leases expire soon? Does the building need renovations? How do I get financing on a building that large? How much equity do I have to find? If I want to change the building, do I have to find permits? So what we prepare you for is a career in commercial real estate, where the average transaction size of a building is, say, north of $20 million. Now, we also prepare you if you just want to flip homes, or if you want to own a duplex where you own one unit and you want to rent out the other unit, that's fine. The same tools and techniques are there too. But just to be clear, we're not training you to sell houses. We're training you to get a job at Blackstone, to get a job at Prudential or MetLife, to get a job at Citibank, Provident Bank, to underwrite, transact in, own, invest, manage very large commercial assets that generate income. That's what we do. We have 4 courses. Real estate law, which you can take as early as your sophomore year. And everyone loves the real estate law professor, Professor Liddell. He's also a Rutgers alum. He reads your resumes. He tries to whip you up into shape. Everyone loves it. I think he's the most popular, certainly one of the most popular professors on all of Rutgers campus. So you take real estate law with Professor Liddell. Then you'll have real estate finance with either me or with Professor David Frame. Some people think that class is hard. We make that class hard on purpose so that when you go to an interview, there is no fooling around. The employer on the other side knows that you know exactly what you're talking about. So we think of those 2 classes, law and finance, as sort of gatekeeper classes. Take those 2 classes, we're able to get you an internship the summer after your sophomore, probably junior year, and able to get you a job working 10 to 20 hours a week during the course of the school year in real estate. And finally, the last 2 classes in the real estate concentration, there's real estate capital markets. The way to think about that is advanced finance. It's like, I don't know if you've heard of the word securitization, but a securitization turns a set of individual mortgages into a set of individual bonds. Maybe that doesn't make sense right now, but it might make sense a little later. And that requires some financial math, and so we teach that. What's really important about that class is it teaches you private equity. So if you want to be an owner of a real estate project and your co-investors and your debtors have priorities over the rents accruing to the building, then what that class teaches you how to do is set up something called a waterfall structure. The initial rents come in, go to the debt holders. The secondary rents that come in, they might go to your equity partners. The final rents that come in, they accrue to you. Sounds fancy and complicated. It is, but it's fun. And then the final class is development. and developments with, again, Professor Liddell, who everyone loves, and Professor Jacobs. Professor Liddell is a senior officer at Avalon Bay. I don't know if you've heard of Avalon Bay, but they are a large publicly traded corporation that own and build apartments, high-end apartments. So Professor Liddell is in charge of all of New Jersey and all of Florida, acquiring the land, building the units, renting them out, in charge of all of it. He's a Rutgers grad. And of course, Professor Jacobs is also a Rutgers grad. He does less with apartments and he does more with retail and office. So if you have he'll open up a shopping center and there could be a supermarket or a Target, and then there could be some stores next to the supermarket and Target. Well, how do you figure out how big a supermarket to build? How do you figure out where to put it? What kind of stores do you want to put in next to the Target or next to the supermarket? That's what Professor Jacobs will teach you. So that's the 4 classes: finance and law, real estate finance, real estate law, and then capital markets, which is the fancy class, finance class, and development, which is the fun, let's build something cool and get it approved class. So those are the 4 classes.
Excuse me, Professor.
Yes, Harris, are you okay turning on your video monitor? Your video screen?
My camera isn't good enough. I had a question in my mind. Is my voice clear?
Please ask it. I can hear you fine.
Okay, so all of the professors that will be teaching us in these different components of real estate, do they have their own experiences in real estate, or are they only professors? Do they have hands-on experience in the real estate industry? Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, as I described, Professor Liddell, who teaches law and development, he's a senior executive at Avalon Bay, which is a publicly traded REIT that acquires land and builds apartment buildings. Professor Jacobs owns and operates multiple shopping malls around the state of New Jersey and other office complexes. So they'll teach most of your courses. The real estate finance course, which is that's the one course, and real estate capital markets. Those 2 courses, which are the core finance courses, they'll either be taught by me or by Professor Frank.
Okay, thank you. That's great.
You're welcome. So one thing I think that's really important is you'll take these classes. We have a companion entity called the Center for Real Estate. In fact, this is a Center for Real Estate hack. And the Center for Real Estate raises money to fund, among other things, scholarships for students. So students, what I can tell you, we've been doing this now for 5 years. And what I can tell you is that over the past 5 years, the Center for Real Estate has given out more than $1 million in scholarships to more than 170 students. So people ask a lot. The typical scholarship award is $2,000 per semester, or $4,000 for the year, and there are some scholarships that are $5,000 per semester or $10,000 for a year. Those scholarships, they're not particularly exclusive because we give out a lot of them, but they are limited. So to get a scholarship, you have to have declared the real estate concentration, and you have to have done well in your real estate classes. So I would say most scholarship recipients receive scholarships from us for somewhere between 2 and 3 semesters. Occasionally, if students enroll as a sophomore, which we get occasionally, then they can be up to 6 semesters. But most of the time, it's 2 to 3 because many times students don't take our classes until their junior year. So the reason the industry donates to the Center for Real Estate is that the industry wants students interested in real estate at Rutgers to focus on their studies. So the idea is that you get a scholarship so that you don't work 40 hours a week, that you instead work 10 hours a week, and hopefully at a real estate job so that you can get good grades. If you do not get good grades in our classes, you will not get a scholarship. But if you get good grades, and you show up to real estate club and you're registered for the real estate concentration, It's not a guarantee, but it's very, very likely you get the scholarships. And we're proud of that. We're proud of having given out $1 million in scholarships in 5 years. And we, so that's scholarships. And then finally is jobs. We have a good track record of placing students at great jobs. So I think the way it works, and I'm just be straightforward with you, is that students that sit in the back don't get to know their professors and get Bs with the occasional C. The professors don't invest as much to get them a job as the students that sit in the front, go to real estate club, get the A's with the occasional B's, talk to us, do the real estate case study competitions. Those are the students where the team really wants to make sure that that dedicated student gets a good job. We can't guarantee a good job because it's not up to us. But what we can do is we try to make employers come to us looking for students to hire. We put together resume books of students that are in the real estate concentration. And then sometimes those resumes just speak for themselves. And I think without a doubt, the best set of students get really great jobs. Typical job would be at a Provident Bank or like Pulte Homes, which is a large home builder, but also last year we placed someone at MetLife. 2 years ago, we placed somebody at Blackstone. We've had we placed people at Hampshire, Ariel Capital, Blauenberg, JLL. One final pitch, and then I'll open it up for questions. For those of you that are thinking about your major, it's a really important decision. And I'm not going to dress this down. I'm not going to pretend that decision's not life-altering. Your major is a life-altering decision. Partly because there's like a compensation ladder that occurs with experience. So in real estate, the typical salary once you graduate is a number like $60,000 a year. That number is kind of similar across disciplines, across accounting and supply chain and everything else. So sort of a number that college grads get. What changes across, I think, and I'm happy to be corrected by Christine or Ron or anyone else about this, what changes across majors is your expected income path. So we've seen our good students that started out at $55,000 within 18 months start to make $100,000 a year. What happens is the marketplace pretty quickly recognizes who knows what they're doing and who doesn't, and who can work hard and who won't work hard. So like the $55,000 a year or $60,000 a year job, the reason that number doesn't vary that much is the markets haven't figured out who's really great and who isn't. So in real estate, once the marketplace or the employers figure out who's talented, who's well-trained, who works hard, then all of a sudden the career path and the income path gets very steep. And you'll start making probably $100,000 within 18 months of graduation. Maybe it's 95, so plus or minus. That career path changes across majors and changes across employers. So the thing that I want you all to think about, and many of you who are first gen, is don't think about what your first job is. Think about what your career path looks like and what you want in your career path. And once you've thought about your career path, then choose your major. Some people don't like risk. Hey, if you don't like risk, there are great majors for that. Other people love risk. And if you like risk, then there's different majors for that. But that choice kind of determines a path. So be thoughtful about it. Christine, what do you think? Should I open it up for questions? Okay.
Absolutely. So guys, we want to know what you guys want answers to. So again, if you're comfortable sharing your camera, turn on your camera, ask away. You've got a professor really here to answer any and all questions. And I know you guys have just been admitted. We're throwing a lot of information at you. Some of this may be new. I recognize faces already. Emily is back. Ryan is back. So this is great that you're hopping into multiple sessions to learn more about what we offer. So if anybody has any questions, this is your time to really ask. Nothing should be taken off the table. Ask away.
You may not know what you even want to ask, which is totally fine. I mean, you came from high school, like how, and all of a sudden I'm talking about Blau and Berg, like what's that? Or a career path, like what's that? Or like, and like, what do you mean you're not going to be a realtor? So I think a lot of this is probably new. I'm around, so you can send me an email. And sometimes I don't answer right away because I get lots of emails, but I'll answer it. And
Professor, do you want to put your email maybe in the chat box?
sure.
So that they have that.
Let's see if I can do that. Here's my email.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, Emily and Ryan, it was, I pronounced that correctly, correct? Ryan?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a pleasure to meet you. And Harris, thank you for your question. I can see some names. Since you have your cameras off, I can't say that we've met, but if you do have any questions, please email me.
I actually do have a question. So would I be able to maybe like combine concentration in like marketing and then also in real estate?
I can answer that one, Mo, if you want.
Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, so we only allow, this came up last year, actually, Mo. I remember the question. Ryan, my name's Ron Richter. I work with Christine and the advising people here at RBS. And I also work with Mo. Hi, I'm a professor in finance. We only allow one concentration.
Okay.
So if you go on the website, you can see a listing of all the concentrations. You can major, and you can have more than one major. And this may sound absolutely wacky, but we have some people that triple major. I'm actually looking at a spreadsheet right now, trying to get graduation together. And we have people that triple major and maybe even have a concentration. Now, those people may be a little wacky, but that's what they do. I think too, what Professor Davis talked about is, those internships and spending time to be able to learn real life is so important that you don't want to kind of overflow yourself, but you can only have one concentration.
Okay.
But you can have multiple majors.
Gotcha.
We,
Thank you so much.
and by the way, if you are thinking about real estate, it's the earlier you start, the better. We had a student that started as a sophomore, and boy, what a home run. We were able to get him a job working with a developer. So he's been working on a project in West Orange, a big multifamily development. He's leveraged that into a summer internship at PNC Bank. And then he's done case study competitions. So when he goes into an interview, he's had all our courses and he's had a year's worth of experience with a major development firm at 10 or 20 hours, probably 10 hours a week. It might be sometimes 20. The interview goes spectacularly well. He can just talk about all the things he's doing as a development in the development process. They don't have to teach him like, oh, here's the pencil sharpener and like, here's how you open up Excel. They go, oh, you already know what you're doing. You're Argus certified and you've been working in development and you've had all these real estate courses and you've done real estate case study competitions. It's the easiest sell for a job.
I have a question.
Thank you so much.
To help the students along, you've talked about case competitions. How would students know how to get involved with a case competition for real estate? Do they find this out in class, in the club that you talked about? So how would I go about learning more about that?
That's great. I'll help out. Sometimes the case study, well, because of COVID, case studies have been remote and that's been unusual. But in previous years, people email me from around the country, hey, we have a case study competition. Do you want to participate? And then sometimes I'll send that out to the clubs. I'll say, hey, do your members want to work? Sometimes I'll ask students in my classes, I'll find what I think are the 4 top students, and I'll say, I've got a case study competition for you, which I think you'd do great in. And then sometimes we just focus on the folks that are in our concentration. So like many things, many times you have to come to me and say, I really want to do this. But, or you have to go to the clubs and be part of the clubs. It's pretty easy at Rutgers to figure out who really has an appetite for outside of classroom activities and who doesn't. The students that are really engaged with the professors, that go to the clubs, that we know who they are. So if you're shy, it makes it very difficult for us to get you engaged.
So what I'm hearing is academics are important, but it's just as important to start networking. And we talked a little bit about this in sessions yesterday for those of you who may have popped on, and really engage yourself with the instructor. Make it a point to go to office hours, introduce yourself, go up after class to the podium and talk to them so that they know you have an appetite for what's coming and that you can kind of lead them. Would you say that that's true?
100% true. Look, I teach a course and we all agree that it's difficult at times. So I meet 3 groups of students. Sometimes there are quiet students that ace my exams, and I go out of my way to meet them because I want to get feedback from them on the course. Why are they quiet and how did they ace my exam? And there's a second set of students that need help, real help. And we figure that out pretty quickly. And I talk to them. What's going on? Why did you do poorly? Do we need to bring in somebody for you to talk to? How can we improve your performance? That's group B. So I meet A and B. There's a large middle of people that didn't ace it, but they did well. And it's those folks that I encourage to please find me out. Please find me. Because I promise you that if you're like 100%, I'm going to do the club and I'm going to the real estate club and I'm going to LIBOR and I need to do a case study competition and I want to do the internships and I'm meeting with Professors Liddell and Jacobs to work on my resume. I promise you there's only a handful of those students that I see every year, and we invest a lot in those students because we know them. They're like part of the family. We don't mean to exclude the other students. It's just the students that make themselves known to us, we know that they want our help.
So I think, guys, what you need to realize the professor's saying is in high school, you guys are, you're all about the grades. You're working to get to that next point into those colleges. You've made it, you're here. Now you need to make yourself known in other ways. You need to show that grit, that tenacity, that determination. It's not just about doing well on an exam. Rutgers students have this grit about them. That's what we're known for, that Rutgers grit. And it's something that really can't be taught. And some of us have to go out of our comfort zone. I talk to a lot of students every day, but I'm a shy person. It's hard for me sometimes to go up and start talking to people I don't know. And that's what we want to teach you. That's what Rutgers is giving you so that you would get these other opportunities, because they might not seek you out, but if you seek them out, those opportunities are there for you to take advantage of. So keep that in mind. And it might be tough for some of you, but that's what we're trying to teach you. That's going to be a critical thing that you're going to need in any school that you choose.
I think the hardest thing to do is to say hello to somebody you've never met before. And some people are born to work a room. Maybe Ron was born to work, Professor Rector was born to work a room. But for many of us, it takes that extra ounce of resolve to go up and say, I'm going to put myself out there and I'm going to talk to this person that I've never met before. And the possibility of rejection is real. And that's hard. But what I can tell you is the professors on the other side would rather you try than not try. Most people don't make the effort.
Great point. Anybody else have any questions, concerns, comments? Did you understand the?
Hello, Professor.
Oops, go ahead,
Paris here
Harris.
again. So, Professor, so as you said that most of the students, they come and join the real estate major later on in the sophomore year or the junior year. Is that correct?
Well, it's a concentration, not a major. There's a distinction. And
Okay,
you
okay.
can enroll anytime. But many students take
So-
their first class with us. Sometimes some of them take real estate law as sophomores. Many take the finance class, which is kind of a prerequisite as a junior. So that's
So
correct.
if I come in at Rutgers and straight away, concentrate at real estate, can I expect to start, work at a real estate agency in between my degree, the whole part of it?
Well, what you can expect is that we'll teach you a lot of stuff. And then what comes of that is partly up to you. So if you take real estate law as a sophomore and you're a finance major and you take real estate finance as a sophomore, then we can place you in an internship probably as soon as your summer of your sophomore year. But real estate finance has some prerequisites, including real estate financial management, which is why a lot of people don't get to it till their junior year.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Hey, Mo, is the real estate concentration, is it 3 classes or 4 classes?
It's 4.
Right, you're the only one with 4, that's fine, right? So I think to your point, and you guys it's too early for you guys, but when you get to college, we have these prerequisites before you take these other classes, and you really have to be cognizant of those so that you can space things out. So just be careful of that, not just for real estate concentration, just in general.
We are 4. We do have one, we allow one class to double count, which is real estate
Right,
finance.
that helps, yep.
Yeah, so if you're a finance major, it's only 3 extra.
Exactly, yep, yep. It's been very popular. I know because I know we're going to be asking you for more seats.
Oh, that's good. More
Yeah.
seats switch for Professor Liddell's class?
Well, we haven't gotten the signups yet, but me and Dean Narat were looking at the number of seats that we have, and we think we need more. So, but we'll see what happens in 3 weeks.
Good.
So
Yeah, good.
get ready for that. Yeah.
There's obviously COVID has messed a few things up, including, so we'll have to talk about that too.
Yeah, we'll talk about, but it's been for the high school kids here, the real estate concentration has gone over very well with our students. We hear great things about it.
Yeah, thank you, Ron.
Yep.
Professor Richter, I should say.
That's okay. Ron's cool.
Anyone else have anything? No?
Okay.
All right, well, thank you all for coming. The session is being recorded, so if you want to go back and review what Professor Davis talked about, you certainly will be able to find that on our website. It should be uploaded by tomorrow. His email is in the chat box, so maybe you're shy and you don't want to talk in front of the group, so you can always reach out to him. I hope to see you guys throughout the week and next week and on Saturday, which is the big shebang for the admitted student open house. That'll kick off at 9 a.m. with Dean Markowitz and Dean Schnatter at 10 for our first year students.
Excuse me, Christine, ma'am.
Sure, Harris, what can we do for you?
Are these sessions uploaded on YouTube? I've seen one of them.
I believe undergraduate admission sessions are uploaded on YouTube. Ours will be Zoom links. So on Saturday, they will be live sessions via Zoom. And then when we record them, they'll be on our website. I don't think they're uploaded to YouTube. Ron, do you know how, Jessica?
Yeah, I don't think they're uploaded to YouTube. I think you'll be able to access them, Harris, through the website. But we'll get it out to you. I think somehow we will, through an email or something. I think we can tell you where they're at. You're looking, Harris. You're worried about
Thank you.
Saturday's events.
No, I'm talking about these events, these
Okay.
events. These
All
are
right.
recorded, right?
Yeah, they're recorded, and I know that Jessica's putting them up. I'm not sure exactly. I would think it would be at the RBS website. But
Right, it's on the RBS website. It's definitely on the Rutgers Business School website. I know
See if I
she
can find
put up last night's sessions there. I don't know if she uploaded it to YouTube, but I know last night's is up. This one will be up by tomorrow because I'll get that sent over to her. But Saturday will be live sessions as well, and all next week are sessions for each individual major. Tomorrow night is the Office of Career Management at 6:30. So that's a great one to check out so that you guys can ask about employers and job opportunities and different information as we go through for May 1st, National Decision Day. I always say I'm not going to tell you this to hit the button, but hit the button. Come to Rutgers. It's a great place. But if you say I said that, even though we're recorded, I'll deny I ever said that. So I think Professor Richter put in the chat box where you can find the links for the additional sessions. I hope to see all you there because those of you who are putting on your camera, I know who you guys are. I recognize Ryan and Emily right away. So I'm happy to see you guys and I look forward to seeing you and being back on campus in the fall. So it's going to be a great welcome back for you guys. I'm so excited to meet our new students.
Yep.
Yes, Ron?
yes, that chat, what I chatted out to you guys, it shows you the rest of the sessions that we're having at the business school for the next week and a half. But if you scroll all the way to the bottom, Harris, all the way to the bottom, that's where we're putting the recordings. So Professor Davis's will be up there by tomorrow, along with, I think we're doing like clubs and leadership and mentorship at 6 o'clock, I think, right?
Yes.
Today?
So if you guys want to hop in, we're doing mentoring programs right at 6 following this. So we'll see you. Ryan hit the button. So congratulations. She is a new Scarlet Knight.
Thank you.
Wish I had my pom-pom. All right. So have a great night, everybody. Stay safe. Thank you, Professor Davis. And
Thank you, Christine. Thank you.
Thanks.
Ron.
Thanks, Mo. Appreciate it.
all right. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Have a nice day. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Christine,
Yeah.
there's no way anyone believes that you were shy. I'm just telling you.
I really
It's just
am.
no way.
It's a hard thing.
If you were shy, my God.
I'm coming out of my shell. I'm
Oh,
just
We got to
coming
stop.
out.
We better stop recording. Hold on. There we go.
Yeah.
That's right, I should.
Yeah.